Long before the modern world rose from stone and steel, humans and wild animals shared the same ground as equals. The rivers ran free, the forests stood deep, and every creature knew its place in the great circle. The first humans were not masters of the land but wanderers who observed and listened. They learned from the animals, how to hunt, how to hide, how to survive. The eagle taught them to watch from above. The wolf taught them to work in groups. They learned patience and strength from the bear. The deer taught them gentleness and vigilance. Around the fires of ancient nights, stories were told of spirits that took the form of animals. Foxes were thought to be the messengers of clever gods, so children were told not to hurt them. Hunters prayed to the great herds before they loosed their arrows. And when a kill was made, thanks was given. In those early times, balance ruled. The hunter needed the deer, but the deer's sacrifice kept the hunter alive. Humans only ingested what was needed from the fish that swam in endless rivers. There was no greed, only survival. But slowly, the relationship shifted. As villages grew into towns, the forests began to shrink. The animals watched from the shadows as humans cut trees and built homes. Wolves howled from the hills, sensing the coming change. Leaving offerings at sacred stones was one way that some people still honored the old ways. Others forgot, thinking they were masters instead of relatives. A boy named Kieran lived at the edge of a forest where the wolves still roamed. He was curious, gentle, and braver than most. He went deep into the woods one early morning, following deer tracks. The forest was alive with sound, crows calling, squirrels chattering, a fox darting through underbrush. Kieran felt only wonder, not fear. He came to a clearing where a wolf stood, golden eyes fixed on him. The child froze. There was no wolf snarl. Instead, it looked at him with a head tilt. For a long moment, they stared at each other. Then the wolf turned and vanished into the trees. With no air in his lungs and a racing heart, Kieran dashed home. He told his grandmother, who smiled knowingly. "The forest has seen you," she said. "The wolf has chosen to show itself. Remember this." From that day, Kieran felt a bond with the wild things. He listened to bird calls as though they were words. He watched the deer and understood their silence. At night, he dreamed of running with wolves beneath the moon. But not all villagers shared his wonder. Farmers feared wolves, for sometimes they took sheep. By killing large stags, hunters sought fame. Traders valued pelts more than lives. The old balance cracked. Kieran grew, and so did the village. Fields spread where forest once stood. The wolves retreated deeper into the wild. Their howls still occasionally reached Kieran's ears. He would pause in his work and feel the ancient connection stir. Years passed, and men with axes cut down the trees near the river. Birds fled, nests destroyed. As the water became cloudy, there were fewer fish. The people celebrated the new farmland, but Kieran mourned the loss. He once more saw the wolf one evening as the sun set red. Older now, its fur streaked with gray. It stood at the edge of the field, watching silently. Kieran felt sorrow in its gaze. He raised his hand in greeting, but the wolf turned and slipped away. That night, Kieran dreamed of fire and axes and the forest crying out. He awoke with his cheeks weeping. Strange things transpired in the days that followed. Crops failed despite clear skies. Cows sickened without reason. Some said the land was cursed. Animal spirits were said by others to be enraged. The village elders dismissed such talk. But Kieran remembered the wolf's eyes. He felt a warning had been given. He attempted to converse with his neighbors. "If we do not respect the wild," he said, "the land itself will turn against us." No one listened. The new barns were struck by lightning one evening. Fire roared, consuming wood and grain. The villagers cried out, helpless. Kieran claimed to have seen wolves, deer, and bears racing through the flames amid the smoke. Spirits of the forest. When dawn came, half the village lay in ashes. The people were broken, humbled. Kiran walked to the forest and knelt. He spoke aloud, though no one was there. He muttered, "Forgive us. Teach us again to live in balance." The pine scent was carried by the wind as it moved. Birds sang softly, as though answering. The wolf came back after a few days. This time, it came closer. Kiran knelt, bowing his head. The wolf silently circled around him before touching its nose to his hand. In that moment, a promise was made. With respect, the bond that exists between humans and animals can be restored. Kiran carried that lesson all his life. He taught his children to honor the deer, to thank the fish, to listen to the wind. Slowly, others followed. The village expanded once more, but cautiously. Trees were planted when others were cut. Fences were built, but wild paths were left open. Wolves still roamed, and though sheep were guarded, no hunts were waged against them. The fragile but real equilibrium returned. The legend of Kiran and the wolf spread over time and generations. By the fire, children whispered it.